very interesting. Oh yes, if I do say so myself. And I do indeed say so.
Illegal.
Alright, I am going to try to mind game ya boy.
Oh.
Yes. I'm going to try to, well, I may or may not get information from him, but what's important is that I set up something so that in the future, getting information from him will be easier. Oh, yes. I will try to farm some rep by making him subconsciously think some things about me. And then I'm going to burn that rep by asking a question.
Interesting.
Yes.
It's
Also, I
good
like how
strategy.
Battlestar said he had to go to bed immediately, and he's still in there. And so did Com.
Yeah. They also both said they wanted to be here for this, but neither of them came.
Really? Oh, I guess
Yeah.
I'll. Hey,
And
if you
yeah,
guys want to listen to the Riddick thing, that's going on now.
yo, what are you talking about? Because
I'm gonna try and get information about Medusa. If you don't show up, I'll just tell you what I find out.
Yeah,
if I
can you
find out
like
anything.
record it or tell me? I don't care which one.
Yeah, okay. Com, if you want to show up.
Because I want to go to sleep.
My tempora is ready.
Okay. Well, you're not here in the thing, but you can listen to it. So yeah.
Battlestar said he had to go, but he's here anyway.
I came to say goodnight.
Calling Riddick
okay, good
and
night.
sharing it with the other
Good night,
ethereal
son.
beings that roll dice.
What?
Are you private calling Riddick and then sharing it with the other ethereal beings that look over the universe?
Well, it's
Is
not
that
a
what's
private
happening?
call, but yes. I'm having a private conversation, but I don't care about it being
Okay.
private.
In terms of timeline, when is this happening?
Okay, so this will start when we open the gate for Gamma Fleet to come through, and then when Riddick and Avarin showed up, and Avarin teleports over, that's when this starts.
So this is on Forge of Stars?
No, this is on Year Pillar 10 when they showed up to grab the warp stars.
Okay.
So when they get here, we're gonna have them teleport to one of the cargo bays aboard Air Pillar 10. When they get here, there seems to be a large variety of things. Riddick, give me a captain's command check.
Oh.
Sure.
Hey,
fuck.
wow, that's pretty good. He got a 19. Are you okay, Com? Com? What the fuck did you have a prolapse like me? So, you sounded like me. You good? Okay, he's dead. What the fuck was that? Okay, well.
Should we call him some help?
Yeah, I'm gonna call his phone. Maybe Kayla's around, I guess,
okay.
at least.
I'm okay.
Okay.
What the fuck was that?
I'm in pain.
Why are you in pain? Okay.
I made a mistake. Ow.
Continuing on.
Sus. Anyway, Riddick finds a 100:1 scale model of the Forge of Stars. It's 45 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 10 feet tall. Ish. It seems to be constructed out of some sort of ivory-like material. It's not an exact replica. It seems to have some ornate carvings along the armor plates as trimming to accentuate the shape of each plate. And it also seems to be missing one of the plates, and since he got a high enough DC check, he can tell that looking through the hole, it would appear to be hollow with a metal frame that the plates are mounted on.
Okay. Is the final plate missing for any reason?
Just not installed yet. So I will tell him. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but there's a Drake and Media series with like books, games, and movies about it called Earth.
Oh,
Oh
there
my
is.
God.
Yeah. This is my argument, and I was talking to like Battlestar or Adam or someone about it. That we would be able to use this so that we could reference things from real life and just be like, oh yeah, so it's from this thing called Earth.
Sure. Okay.
In one of the books, there's a statue in some city in America called the Statue of Liberty that another country gave them as a diplomatic gift of friendship. I thought it might be a nice idea to try to pull off the same kind of thing. Oh yes.
Certainly a very nice representation. I'll find a place of honor for it on Nowhere.
He also finds what appears to be a strange landscaping project or something. Perhaps he notices it
What?
as an island from Mimera. Perhaps he does not, depending on how much he has paid attention to its topography.
You'd probably recognize it if you picked a fairly famous landmark.
Yes. There are also some other noteworthy things in the cargo bay. An incredibly large amount of stone tiles, some anti-gravity field generators, and some hologram projectors, and a large box. Ivarin, give me an Arcana check.
Interesting.
Wow.
17.
It smells like the box has warp stars in it.
Riddick will be like, "What is all this?"
Okay, so basically, all of this is I took a look at my Mira, and I found an island that Nowhere's logs or whatever, Nowhere's Space Google said was a popular tourist attraction. And here, let me just show you something real quick. We're gonna turn on the hologram projectors and give a little preview of what it would look like in Nowhere's main lobby or whatever kind of big
Promenade.
room. Yeah. So what we have here is we've got. Let me see here. I had a thing. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So there's the Forge of Stars replica, which is a 100 to 1 scale. It's 45 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 10 feet ish tall, or whatever. Assuming it's about as wide as it is tall, and it's got like small motor servo things or whatever in the turrets so that they turn, and it's not an exact replica. We're going for like the stylized version with like carvings or whatever, and also a slight increased space between the plating for a particular reason. And under that, it's like suspended by the anti-gravity field generator things. Under that is a fish pond. It's about 60 feet in diameter for circle shapes for circular reasons. If 60 feet is too large, then, well, I guess it's too large, but it could be downsized.
You're on a flagship. You're fine.
Yeah. So since the Eldar fish got nuked, but the Iskandar fish have a fish project going on, they would serve as a symbolic replacement because yes, see, I am fish and my planet was destroyed too. And also, my Mira is Medusa, and they would also have Dracosian fish kind of things going on there. How very interesting. Probably
Riddick
not
would
the same
know
kind of
it's
fish, but
it's Medusa, but yeah.
yes. He also probably wouldn't know that what the fuck a Dracosian fish is, but I guess I would tell him, hey, yes, this is a Dracosian fish. So,
That project finish?
what?
Did that
No.
project finish?
No, not yet.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
still going for a bit. So in the hologram representation thing, this could be changed. This is up to Riddick's discretion. But we got floor made of stone tile that's made of Mimira rocks from the moon, and we got like benches and shit around the fish pond or whatever. We got hologram projectors around the room for the purposes of it will be displaying, right, simulated battle maps of space around the Forge of Stars to scale, like with the model, at scheduled intervals, perhaps, like a tourist attraction kind of thing to see the ship in a simulated battle. Like it would make the walls disappear, like the fucking holodeck from
Star
whatever,
Trek.
from Star Trek, and then you would see all the ships around, and then in the gaps between the armor plates that are there for a specific reason, whenever the simulated Ivarin would cast, the gaps would light up like some fucking RGB gaming computer kind of thing. And then it would like display runes around the ship or whatever, because holograms can do whatever the fuck. Oh,
Very
yes.
nice.
Yes. So yeah, not entirely sure if all of this would work out the way I envisioned it, but yeah, I thought
It's
it
a very
would.
thoughtful
I thought it'd
gift.
be-
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I'm not
so
sure
you're
if it would
welcome.
do well on the main promenade. We have a lot of eventful happenings there often, but on a more quiet part of the station, where people can still see it, I think would be appropriate.
Wherever you want to put it, that is up to you.
Avarin will kind of oogle at it as well and be like, "Cool."
Yeah, so Ivarin, I'll open the box and be like, these are for you. They're not quite the rating requested, but we couldn't really scrounge up enough Arcana to produce Class 6, and also be able to gate the ships to their destination, but we did produce some Class 5s. They'll still be good upgrades, though, even if they're not all the way what you were expecting.
Maybe it
So,
will help.
yeah.
Help extend the range of the main cannons. Other functions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Send this over to engineering as soon as we get back.
Actually, if you wanted to just head over now, I would like to speak with Riddick in private.
Oh,
Yes.
he'll look a little confused, but Riddick will kind of like nod and be like, "It's okay." Okay then. He'll
Yeah.
then teleport off.
And now you go do training simulations. Oh yes. And I will take Riddick around the ship, and I will show him like the new auxiliary bridge thing, because I don't think I showed that to him last time he was aboard. I don't think I
Auxiliary
had
bridge
it.
thing.
The destroyer thing with Bury installed,
Oh, okay.
and then we'll be like, we'll take him like up to the observation deck for some demonstrations. I'm calling the bridge thing on the Vigilant a non-essential area of the ship, like a
Yeah,
rec
that's
center
probably
or
an
something.
observation deck, because that would get shot off so fast, my dude. That's some like Star Destroyer level. A fighter can
Yup.
Are
come
you
across
guys
the U and
looking at
take out a
something that I'm
capital.
not?
No, just my ship in the ER Pillar 10 is a Vigilant, and
Yeah,
in Star Conflict, the Vigilant has the fucking big ass bridge thing on the side.
Yeah,
That
but
would
I mean,
get destroyed instantly.
I agree, but I just didn't like. I guess I wasn't paying enough attention to see the connection to Space D&D. Like, I know your
Just
ship is the Vigilant, but you were like talking
It
to
probably
Riddick.
wouldn't actually be his bridge.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that
know.
wouldn't be the bridge. That's definitely like
That's an observation deck.
somewhere for people to hang out or whatever, look at the stars. That is not important to the ship functions. At least I would hope. Anyway, one of the rooms there probably has like a giant window or something, because it's an observation deck, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was one of the rooms that has like some tables and chairs around, maybe like a
Mhm.
onboard restaurant kind of thing. Like big ships have something called like a gadunk bar or something. I'm not entirely sure, but where you can get like non-standard mess hall things, something like that, but fancier because the ship is literally the size of like a fucking city.
A city. Yeah.
So we'll take him to like
Sure.
I don't know, a table in front of the big ass window, and we'll offer him to take a seat. Yes.
I'll take a seat. Look out at the, I assume, big ass fleet movement stuff happening outside.
Yeah,
Um,
boy.
then kind of look back.
We'll
Certainly
have,
a very unique craft you have here.
yes. Um, are you hungry by any chance?
I suppose so.
Okay. I guess I'll like wave a person over, like a waiter or something. I don't know, to ask us if we food, and I will food in the variety of a giant moon cow steak, a Draken classic. Oh yes.
Uh, all right. Riddick will probably ask for like what you'd recommend. He's used to like Badlands food.
I'm not really sure. You know what? You should try. If you want to just try what I'm having the moon cow steak. It's a Draken classic meal.
Sure.
All right. Alternatively, if you wanted to see if the cooks could whip up something more to your uh, customs.
I've been stuck on small stations and Forge of Stars for a while. It'd be good to try something else for a change.
All right, cool. So I don't really want to take up too much time because I expect that you want to go to bed at some point. But I would like to talk some hand wavy.
I can stay up for another like hour or so.
I would like to hand wavy about the Giga Gravy Wave thing. Uh, just be like,
Oh.
oh yeah, so if the Mac, I guess I don't have to hand wavy it. If the Mac wanted to plan a operation where they would need an area cleared for insertion or something, a system such as this, I guess I'll like get a data pad and show him the Giga Gravy Wave thing. Uh, just like one of the simulated runs where it over 1,000,000 feet yeet mode. Realistically, just one stealth ship loaded with a bunch of warp star capacitors, just have it go in stealth and then charge the warp stars and then just activate the gravity wave. And then, well, what's up? Do you have some orbital defense platforms over an enemy planet that we, for whatever reason, need to get in range of? Well, just send a single command carrier with like a dimension vault and 45 warp star capacitors, and then just suddenly your orbital defense net has a big hole in it.
An interesting concept to be sure. As I'm sure you're aware, our ability to acquire warp stars is a bit limited, so it'd be a rather an
Yes.
idea for more theoretical discussion than anything that could be practically built.
Yes. I'd like to stop the conversation here and just be like, hold on to that thought for just a second. Look at that view. See, when I was mentioning in session that I needed to park my ship in a very specific location in the shadow of a gas giant, we're getting this boy parked so that outside of the big ass observation windows, the sun is coming over the horizon, so we can have a nice
Sunrise.
sunrise dinner.
Okay.
Yes, the sunrise dinner as opposed to the sunset dinner. Oh my goodness. Anyway, after watching it for a while, the waiter's gonna come back eventually with their food, and I'll like start cutting a piece of the moon cow steak and be like, man, I wish I could see something like that more often. I mean, I can if I wanted to. I could just come up here and tell the ship to park wherever I'd get to see this an unlimited number of times, but You just can't really afford to be faffing about, 100% of the time. Not when there's so much at stake. And I'll, take a bite of the steak.
I assure you, I'm aware of the feeling. Space can be a rather beautiful and deadly place, but in recent years there has been too much to do to go about exploring it.
Yes. So on the topic of warp stars, as we eat dinner, I will continue to speak when my mouth is not full, I guess. um, Warp star capacitors are something I've been taking an interest in lately. So far, we've been producing mostly reactors, of course, because capacitors and computers have yet to become a priority, as most ships we're interested in fueling don't have the power supplies to use them at all yet. And we're just now getting to the position where it won't take us weeks of preparation and work to make warp stars anymore. Hopefully, I'll be able to begin producing large quantity in the near future, but we've encountered a significant hurdle in our progress in that the docking systems for Project Bunker can't handle the power draw for Burry's regen like we thought they could. And we can't actually juice the system that hard without causing damage we hadn't noticed at first. Arcane power generation is down to about a quarter of what we were running earlier. And another hurdle is that the current arrangements between the NSC and the Federation regarding the distribution of PL9A tech. I've spoken briefly with my Admiralty in regards to revising the current arrangements, and they've agreed to review it. I'm not exactly in the business, so I'm not really sure what the logistics would really look like. So could you do me a favor and speak to Corax about this? The two of you seem to be getting along quite well, and I'm sure he would be willing to at least put some effort towards modernizing the arrangements after Shadow Strike has run its course, and it gives us some room
Lending
to
one's
breathe.
fleet to a harebrained offensive tends to get you a good amount of goodwill there. Corax has been a more pleasant contact within your federation.
I
In terms of
suspect
the arrangement, I've had some difficulties swaying the minds of some of your admiralty. Primarily those Corellia, Cisco,
Corellia!
and Tywin have been more vocal um, about limiting our access to these higher level technologies.
Yeah, so it would
Corellia.
seem. Although I suspect the rest of the Admiralty may be slightly more incentivized to agree to any changes after they witness your assistance. You see, Ivan, this is out of character. If you ask people to do small favors for you that they would probably want to do anyway, and then they do it, they'll subconsciously believe that they want to do things for you more than they would otherwise.
Hmm?
This is me. This is me trying to mind game.
I see.
Yes. Oh yeah, we do a little social engineering. Anyway, back to in character.
I'm not
Of
certain if you have any sway over those three, but they are the greatest hurdles in getting any real progress there.
right. I'll see what can be done. Of course, I also believe I have found a solution, in a way, to the topic of getting hold of Titan-sized wave motion guns for the Forge of Stars. I'll pull out the data pad from earlier with oxycodone's refits and a demo reel from Smanging Star Song and the Cyclonic Torpedo Dreadnought, and I'll slide it over to him. In case you
Good work,
hadn't
then.
scanned our ships and noticed any refits, I've taken some inspiration from the Forge of Stars. The use of Nova Lance, in and of itself, is quite a viable strategy when paired with system superchargers. The same cannot necessarily be said about using wave motion guns due to their heating problems. The principle of using wave motion guns instead of Nova Lances for the Forge of Stars is somewhat negated when factoring in the abilities of a high enough level Klein star and linking the system to an arcane attack focus. A single devastating strike from Oxycodone could break apart ER Pillar 10 if its Star Fortress wasn't up, at the cost of about an hour and 40 minutes of Hytricia's passive regen. And when you factor in a Klein Star's arcane weapon modification abilities, it could even destroy some unprotected Titans. Two problems arise here, though, in that one, I doubt Ivarin at his current capabilities could handle the power draw of Forge of Stars weapon batteries if it was converted to Arcana right now. And two, we lack supplies of arcane focuses. I was able to get Warp Star upgrades approved for the Black Fleet's operations by Corax, though, so perhaps I could get another upgrade for the Forge of Stars in the future when the resources are available. Perhaps as a diplomatic gift to the NSE. And I'll, like, wink at him. And I want to watch him closely when I say that. Because, you know, now that it's fresh in his memory and on his mind that he's allowed me to interact with what's on his prize ship more than most people, I want to closely observe him, trying to spot any feelings of distrust or doubt. Yes.
Give me Captain's command.
Maybe I will. Oh, yes.
And you don't have a girlfriend in
Too
real
good.
life?
Can't really read much.
Okay.
Like, certainly be appreciated. Although, I have my doubt such an arrangement would be smiled upon by your admiralty.
Yes. Unfortunate that their opinions don't exactly align with mine. I suppose, though, if it were to come about, it would mean that he would have to start training in at least the use of arcane projectile guidance and damage amplifications. I had Hytricia start training in offensive abilities, but it's quite a slow process. Luckily, the weapon itself carries most of the effort. Being able to shoot further and hit harder at low cost is infinitely more effective a battle tactic than using the abilities that directly deal damage, such as Anlat. And of course, there's the old adage, if you have a weaker caster, the enemy can't start casting at you if the enemy doesn't exist. Oh, yes.
He'll chuckle at that and be like, quiet. That kind of thought process is one of the rationale behind Forge of Stars is philosophy.
Oh, yes.
A massive alpha strike should be able to weaken an enemy beyond their ability to dynamically cope with such a strike.
Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. It is time I evidence trust in Riddick by word vomiting at him in a way that exposes an emotional vulnerability. Yes. Because that way he'd be like, oh, yes, you trust me with this. I'll tell him. I see a lot of similarities between you and I. From what I can tell, according to our goals, we seem to be birds of a feather. You and I both see a future heavily dependent on the Mac. We get it, you know. We understand what must be done, the sacrifices that must be made. We must walk so others can run, set stuff up for the future, and ensure that a future still exists. I wish it weren't happening in my time, but that is not for me to decide. Time is quite limited these days, and death comes for us all if we can't keep pace with this cycle's deadline. It is up for us to decide what to do with the time that we are given. The pieces of the puzzle are coming together, and the day of checkmate is marching forever forward, and I can only hope we put it together soon enough to see the bigger picture in time to fix it before it all goes to hell, or at least prepare enough to endure. Yes, I'm gonna continue eating my moon cow.
Indeed. The necessity of a more unified galaxy amongst all the threats we face is one that it will be hard fought, but I fear may be necessary if we are to survive the more more technologically advanced foe we all seem to be more rapidly facing.
Yes.
I fear that we may not be able to put our old differences aside in time.
I had a similar thought. You know, I used to be a nobody. I think I've told you some about this before. I just used to be some random kid on Erebir. I never really appreciated what we as a galaxy have here. Civilizations spanning entire clusters, entire regions of space. And now here I am, amidst the most influential people and most important decisions made in the galaxy. I myself am on that list now of influential people, somehow, and I've asked myself this same question for months now. Why me? I'm sure you've asked yourself the same at least once. Like, what makes me special? Why am I involved in so much going on these days? The Sons of Chaos, the RC, Second Fed Dominion War, and the Akari Crime War. Fucking extragalactic invaders while we're at it. How am I involved in any of this? How can it be that I, some random person, am coincidentally involved in so much? And you too. Just a drop in the ocean of people in the galaxy, but yet you're the leader of the NSC, redeemer of an entire race, and basically the head of the MAC and Badlands as a whole. It's like, maybe it's because we care? Maybe the universe just has nobody else to call on. Some chosen one's prophecy kind of thing, but no. No, you and I, we know better. We're not chosen ones. It's because we're realists. We follow the meta better than others. We see things. We see things, you and I. I don't think the rest of them see it at all. The big picture. They're all too wrapped up in games of how many lives can we throw at an ultimately pointless war? It's that sense of clarity that makes us special. There are countless out there who are tools for greater powers, but you and I, we get to choose what greater powers we take interest in. And that fact scares me. We're not ready for the enemy's next move. The Federation is having some serious troubles in the war to the north, so there isn't a whole lot we'll be able to do against the rest of the storm. I've been really hoping that the Mac will be there to save the day when the shit hits the fan, so I've been pushing this whole unity thing so much. You and Starsha sending forces to aid in the war against the Dominion is so significant, I can't even begin to express my gratitude.
A strike out at a common enemy. That's all it is. If they would try to come to our homes and burn them to the ground. Alright, do you want to get a little revenge?
Yes.
And prevent a future attack, perhaps. Let them know that we are not to be trifled with. If we can put such a force together, they would think twice before trying to attack us again. It's been a long time since anyone has thought the Badlands as any more of a place than as anything more than a place to be exploited. I hope that we can change that perspective. With the Federation and by our own actions. We can show them what we are, what we can be.
It would seem, though, that some of the others among the Mac don't share the same vision. They don't trust us. The NSC and the Fed, I mean. I can understand why, but they're more concerned about the state of political affairs between the Federation and the NSC than improving the state of their own political affairs among each other, which, of course, I guess would be expected given the long history of bloodshed, but it's still troubling that everyone is so wrapped up in their own issues that they can't see the bigger problems that are working their way from small clouds on the horizon to a full-fledged storm, as it were. And then, of course, well, I guess there's me, not being able to solve problems fast enough. I'd really like to get more warp stars distributed to the Mac, as I see them as the only force that will be able to build up and be ready to fight on multiple new fronts. If they are attacked by the Almazarians and Jesden's fleet, then we will have to prepare for that. But also, I have the Fed to worry about. We have to throw a bunch of warp stars at the Fed fleets as they get refits and repairs. The Fed are able to make a few more powerful warp stars of their own through the Black Fleet, but not really many at all, which limits which limits how many warp stars we can throw at the Mac, which realistically isn't going to be any anyway, because now I've got the Admiralty on my case about supplying tech to you guys, which, by the way, leads me to a curious intrigue of mine. I can understand why the NSC isn't investing in PL9 and 10A, given it's an inefficient strategy compared to the B branch technology available. But why haven't the other factions gone through with any upgrades yet? Half the reason to even distribute Klein stars was to make everyone self-sufficient so they could start producing their own Klein stars and warp stars to increase their strength, the strength of their ships in preparation for an attack. And the other half was to keep brain bugs out of the equation by creating an environment that would prevent their existence. And yet, nobody has done anything with them. I tell you, if it weren't for trying to keep a relative power balance within the Mac, I'd already be on my way to take those Klein stars back and do something productive with them.
Well, there's lots of turmoil yet in the Mac. Issues with treaties and such, and a great deal of old wounds that have yet to heal over. You're trying to unite a region of space that has seen almost constant war for hundreds of years, and invasions from an external powers. Your Tywin is a relic of that. His resurrection has been a reminder to some. It will not go easy when it is revealed that he is not dead as well. Because of our
So it
own...
would seem.
One sec.
By the way, Com, if you have any input on things I should say to him, you can tell me.
In terms of our own
I'm having
progression,
fun.
I simply do
staying on the
not see
sideline.
a rather viable route for A branch expansion with the restrictions proposed. Perhaps Avarin's command group may one day, before a larger conflict evolves, become sufficient on A branch technology, be able to produce our own warp stars, perhaps. But our Claren stars are few and far between. Our ability to make warp stars is very limited. Their arcane reserves are needed for battles to come. Cannot be wasting thousands on few warp stars if we need to deal with caster fleets, Jesdens and the like. I'll let you in on a little secret, I suppose. Should Jesden and the Almazarians come at the rate they are, I'm not sure we could be prepared in time. If the Mac were truly tested at its time, I'm not sure what would happen. The NSC and the Knight Riders have a fairly strong navy to put together. We could probably scrounge up a fleet or two, especially with Black Fleet payout from Korax. But the Knight Riders are still rebuilding, and the CSC and Rimhoppers have been at war for centuries, and their fleets are relatively small. They've been fighting for as long as I can remember, and have whittled each other down significantly. Their forces are smaller than I would have hoped. And with those few forces, I'm not sure we can hold two fronts, especially against forces as powerful as just in the Amazarians. We must look for any advantage we can get. B-branch technologies are more readily available. If we can build powerful warships with them, we will.
Yes. So, something interesting about, what is it? The fuck faction is this? Hold on, one sec. I have to go open my notes. Oh, goodness. That pile of notes is fucking gone.
You want some help?
What faction is Darby in charge of?
Karin Darby is CSC.
Yes, okay. So you mentioning the CSC reminds me of something. Darby mentioned before Operation Alba Ignis that he seems to think that we are in cahoots to kill off everyone in the Badlands, we being the Federation and the NSC. I'll like closely watch his reaction to that. And
We got him
others
command.
such as, wow, these are not great rolls.
Before you can tell, he seems a little annoyed.
And others such as the Knight Rider nobility trust neither us nor the Mac as a whole. They're still worried about who is plotting against them, with like air quotes. Maybe someone even thinks the Fed are in cahoots with the Sons of Chaos, and they're like, oh, maybe I'm behind the assassination attempts at Nemesis Desra. Actually, that wouldn't make any sense, though, seeing as I was there, one of the hardest hit, and nearly died. And then I revived the only other person who did die, and the Sons of Chaos seem to hate me quite a lot. But my point is, nobody trusts anyone, it would seem, which is quite detrimental to the Mac's existence as a whole. And one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you here is Alba Ignis seemed to work fairly decently as a team-building exercise. And a good way I see of improving everyone's reputation among each other would be to run another op together. But in order to do so, I would like some information that I think you might have. You see, Ivan, if I ask him to do something that would help him if he did it for me, big brain he subconsciously believes helping me helps him.
Except if it actually helps him, wouldn't it just actually help him?
Yes, but he will subconsciously
why
believe
are
that
you-
in the future. He'll
Subconsciously
subconsciously believe in the future that if he
hoo-ha.
helps me, even if it doesn't help him, it will help him, which he will use to help me. Oh yes.
You know what? I'll subconsciously help you.
Something. I had a dream where you were mean to me, -1 point of rep or whatever the fuck.
Yes.
That'll serve as say.
So here's where it starts to get a little bit spicy. Oh yes. So basically, I've hatched a plan to deal with the Void Runners potentially permanently, and I'll like watch them very closely as I say
Oh
that.
boy.
You make Captain's command.
What the fuck are these rolls?
You're not getting much. Riddick's pretty hard to read.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay.
What do you mean, deal with them all?
It's an operation I've gotten approved called Operation Appointed King. The gist of it is that, assuming the Void Runners operate under the rules of whichever of their ships has the biggest gun calls the shots, if we have the biggest gun and claim to be one of them, we get to call the shots. My superiors and I believe it is so stupid that it might just work. If it does, then we get to use them to our advantage, we get them on our side, and then we pick a target. I suspect due to their low-grade ships, even with all of them, they'll be a single-use asset and might get wiped out in the process of using them, which would resolve the issue of Void Runner space. A potential target could be Jesdin's fleet operating in the Badlands, or something of similar caliber to the Void Runners themselves, that being the Sons of Chaos. I'll watch his reaction again.
Give me Captain's command.
Roll above average, I dare me.
He seems kinda confused.
Does he say anything?
The Void Runners are a group of mindless marauders that operate off of the backs of various warlords across a half-dozen star systems. How do you plan on getting all of them to work against a single enemy?
Do they fight amongst themselves?
Occasionally over territory and such.
That's
not unheard
news
of.
to me. Interesting. Well, it's a good thing I asked then before we did anything. Actually, I have a couple other questions that you might be able to help answer then. Usually, Secon Delta adopts a jump in guns blazing strategy because we usually have little to no intel to base a plan off of, but maybe what information you can supply might help with that. Do the Void Runners have any sort of centralized location of activity? Like, is there any particular system they visit more than any other?
Give me Captain's command.
The important one.
Okay.
Hey, okay.
There are a few bases they tend to swarm around. Systems like, God, I can't read all these. Clasta, Cyban, CAF, large operational centers.
Interesting. So you mentioned they have warlords. Are there multiple warlords per system, or is it like one per system kind of thing?
It's a difficult thing to track. Few people even try. There can be more than one in larger systems. I'm not particularly expertised in their social structures, but from what I can tell, it changes fairly quickly and often.
I see.
They're not a very stable society, if you can call what they do that.
Is there anything else that could be suspected or hypothesized about their hierarchy based off of what you've seen?
It's difficult to say. Often after a large ship goes down or is captured, there is a power shift. Some Void Runners will try to take it over and gather a following. Smaller vessels will often join on their coattails, as it were, to try to band together for food and resources.
Hey, you should ask him if he knows if it's just like a first to get to the wheel of the ship basis, because he would probably I don't know, we might be able to gain a little bit more knowledge about their social structure from that.
Yeah, I suppose.
Perhaps with the 19, you'll get a sense that when Riddick was talking about the various bases of operations, he's kind of being a little shifty. Seems like he was hiding something.
Very interesting. Yeah. We've seen some of the Void Runner stations, but do they have shipyards?
Nothing as complex. Occasionally, ships will be fused together and broken apart. It's a odd process. There have been those who have tried to study it in past. Few Akari researchers sometimes that let us in on their findings afterwards. It's an odd process. I'm not sure of the details.
I see.
Mostly they just
Interesting.
tend to capture ships and use them until they are non-operational, scavenge what they can, and leave the hulks behind.
Interesting. So I suppose then that would mean that they don't really have any mining efforts if they're not trying to repair ships.
No. Some of their systems are quite rich in minerals as well. Leads some desperate souls to try to go out there mining. Very dangerous, but sometimes lucrative operation.
Hmm. Do they have any colonies? Where do they get their crews from?
No one's entirely certain on the process that makes them.
I
Give me
see.
Captain's command.
Oh my god.
He's lying.
Okay. Well, do you know when they first showed up? Like, obviously they haven't always been there.
It's a few centuries ago, I believe. Long before my time. It's hard to say for sure. Scattered reports and various drunken sailors' tales make it hard to pinpoint an exact time, but a few hundred years ago, at most.
One sec, I'm writing stuff down.
Drunken sailor. God damn it, Leonidas role playing as one of the natives. Hey, you want to hear a fun fact? I have $20 worth of Singularity Cannon 17 Mark Vs.
Oh my goodness. Should give one
I
to
have
Nixus.
8 of them now. No, they're all Mark V.
Yeah.
I wish
Okay.
I could.
So you guys seem to know quite a bit more about their ships than us. How do they survive in the ion storms? Like, how do their life support systems support so many people? You know, honestly, I kind of figured their ships would at least not be completely airtight, given they're so dilapidated at times.
Well, some of them aren't. It is not uncommon to find a patch of bodies that were likely expelled out from a hull breach. It's hard to say. They use some sort of biological material to insulate their ship systems, a form of resin that
They
seems to
poop.
degrade fairly rapidly after their ships stop being maintained by them.
Say
They
what
Um,
again? What was that?
Hmm?
A form of resin that what?
degrades fairly rapidly after they stop maintaining a ship. It's difficult to say exactly what the process is, but it seems to serve as some sort of shielding. Helping the matter, their ships never tend to be very high energy output. They're not very intelligent. More complicated systems seldom get used.
Systems that they do have on board or do not have on board.
What? If they don't have a system on board, they can't use it.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking though. You said they rarely use more complicated systems
Yeah,
to
like if a ship has some sort of like super fancy tech, they don't know how to use it.
Oh yes.
Okay.
So another question. Speaking of Void Runners and Void Runner space in general, I was wondering if Agamemnon brought up my investigation of Mimira.
What?
He did not. Interesting.
What happened
Uh,
at Mimiro?
I'll go over what we found, like just sniffing around Void Runner space. Like, oh yeah, it's found your B branch planet, found your A branch signature at the North Pole. Blah blah blah.
Interesting.
How's he looking? Any shifts in demeanor?
Give me a guidance command. Like, a little confused and annoyed.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'll go over also what we found when we were looking for the missing transports. I will not mention that we looked inside their boxes, but I will mention that we scanned the station extensively and we discovered readings indicating brain bugs had recently been aboard the station. How about now?
Hmm.
Any changes in your demeanor? Got a sweat on your forehead?
Give me a guidance command.
What
Can't
is
tell much.
rules, boy? Okay,
Seems all mostly expected.
okay. All right. Well, we'll kind of wrap it up with some information about the UFO having an Almazarian life form aboard, and that the Sons of Chaos may have been involved with it. Any shifts now that I changed the subject away from Void Runner space?
Give me a captain's command. He seems to relax a bit more.
Oh, good. Yes. How suspicious.
It would not surprise me that they tried to use some technology they did not understand. It's odd that they would be out here with Almazarians, but would not be entirely uh, unexpected, I suppose. They've been friendly to the Dominion and the various other forces you call the Storm, would seem. I would not be surprised if they were friendly with the Almazarians.
Well, I'm not entirely sure they were friendly with the Almazarians. We just happened to find an Almazarian life form aboard the ship.
If they were in control of the vessel, how would it be aboard without their consent?
You raise a good point, I guess. uh,
Was it a crowded
might
ship,
have just
Taps?
not noticed it.
I was about to
If
say.
if it's possible that they didn't know what was going on with the ship systems, they may not have been able to use internal sensors at all.
Suppose.
At this point, probably done eating, and I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna get up. Yes, I'm gonna turn my back to him. Yeah, see if he has any feelings of mistrust, he could take this opportunity to attack me. Oh yes, but I doubt he would in the current circumstances, even if he wanted to. Uh, but
You get and legend.
well, I doubt he would attack me because I don't think I've done anything to quite warrant that. By turning my back to him, I'm telling him subconsciously that I feel very comfortable around him and that I trust him. Fucking, taps forehead. Oh yeah, social engineering time. And I'll like walk
You think
over
this
to
far
the.
ahead, dude? Like, how have you not like smooth talked people like this IRL? I fail to believe that you have not
Maybe
done
I've smooth
something like
talked
this.
you. How do you
Well,
know?
I know
How
that.
do you
That's not in
know?
real life, though. You could come to my house and sweet talk me, huh?
Okay, okay.
uh,
How do you think I
Kayla
get
has a
You
people to
won't.
buy me
confession or
food, huh?
something.
Okay, anyway, I'll like walk over to the fucking big ass window and I'll just like watch the sunrise for a second. I'll
Wait, watch
I'll
the sunrise. Where?
yeah, we had a sunrise
Where?
dinner.
Oh.
And I'll be like, I've been meaning to ask you about something, but I haven't had much availability to press for more information. As an avid follower of meta, I understand that the NSE utilizing B branch is the quickest and most efficient method to achieving a power scale capable of defending the max space from the storm, given the Federation's reluctance to aid in that regard with A branch technology. However, as I'm sure you are well aware, use of B branch technology saturates the playing field with B branch radiation, making it impossible to detect brain bugs, and in developing new B branch technology, the NSC risks the potential of being infiltrated by the storm rather than defending itself from the storm. That isn't necessarily the biggest problem, though. The bigger problem is that I'll like turn my head so I can see him out of the corner of my eye and make eye contact with him when I say, the NSC hasn't developed any new B branch technology. I'll like pause for just a moment and watch him closely before continuing. I don't want to give him a chance to respond. I just want to watch him for a second. What's that? What's that? Worried
The
about me
captain's
putting
command.
weird tech on your ship? Oh yeah, it's all coming together. You see, Ivan, I've never displayed any hostilities towards the Forge of Stars, and my actions over the past like 3 months of in-game time have spoken very clearly that I would never do anything that wasn't strictly beneficial. But now I've got him in a position where he may subconsciously believe he should give me what I want, so I don't do anything weird to his ship. Oh yeah, and he shifts now, Riddick. Got some sweat on your forehead.
Um, he looks more annoyed than distressed.
I see. I see. Okay. Anyway, I'll turn away again and just watch the the sunset or rise or whatever, and say, before you respond to anything that I say, I spoke with Agamemnon earlier about the results of the investigation, and he seemed quite upset about it. But I'd like to have a closer look at the signatures you see, and I'll like start pacing back and forth, like a little as I go on. There's just one thing I don't get. You were hiding it, and even more puzzlingly, you gave me data on the planet and coordinates, knowing I would investigate it. You knew I would go there to check it out, and you've seen Project Bunker. You know I have a stealth ship with incredibly advanced sensors. And then you send us to go recover quote unquote missing NSC transports, who, when we arrived, were in fact not missing and were actively in the middle of carrying out an objective to retrieve B branch technology from a station probably being used as a dead drop location in the middle of bumfuck nowhere deep in Void Runner space. And then you also dropped an interesting quote that the dark energy shard aboard Tempest of Infinity was an artifact that would be sent back to a dig site. I don't want to give him a chance to respond, but how's he looking?
Give me Captain's command.
Fine, maybe I will.
He's looking like Riddick.
Wow, he looks hot. Anyway, I'll stop pacing and I'll like face him, fold my arms and I'll like lean against the like railing or whatever in front of the window and try and get a more casual appearance. I'm not too stressed about this, and I'll be like, see, what it seems like to me is that I don't have to explain just how dangerous of an idea it is to be digging up Orthani ships because you already know how dangerous it is, and unlike Agamemnon, who seems quite defensive about the subject, you are perhaps against the use of technology that is beyond anyone's comprehension, and you are trying to cue me in on things to rectify the situation before it gets out of hand without directly telling me about it. But if that were the case, why not just invite me to a private meeting and tell me? While I pride myself in my more extensive than average understanding of the universe we live in and what lies beyond its edge, I can't exactly call myself smart because I can't figure this out. What game are you playing here, and why am I the player?
Give me Captain's command with advantage.
Fine, maybe I'll double that one. Hey, let's go!
Nice. You're in the 30s.
Riddick kind of leaning back for a second. Well played. I've had suspicion of late. The NSC has grown vast under my watch. Prospered in ways I did not think possible when I first set out amongst this. But in part of its growing so large, I cannot be everywhere at once. There are discrepancies I've noticed. Oddities and logs and such that have gotten my attention lately. I resent your method of interrogation here.
Sorry to ruin
But-
dinner.
I suppose it's time for you to know some. For a while now, we've had a lab on Mimera, uncovering lost technologies of our people.
Of your people.
I believe we have uncovered something strange, along with some wonders. Reigniting old discovery, or rediscovering old technologies and such. Powerful devices, I believe, will assist us in the days to come. I believe something more has begun. Some shadow that is spreading within the NSC. I'm not sure what exactly it means. Whenever I prod further. The oddities seemed clear. But it is good to have another set of eyes, as it were. Ones that I do not believe are affiliated with anything that is going on down there.
I see.
Eradicate the
And you
shadow
couldn't just
bitches.
tell me about this?
I'm still not sure if I can trust you fully yet.
I see. I see.
You are all still mostly outsiders in many regards. Although, as you say, we may have much in common, I'm not sure what exactly is going on. Having someone poke around and see what the responses are has been enlightening.
Okay. Well, as I said earlier, I would like to take a closer look at my mirror. If you would like, I could inform you of whatever is found there, although I suspect you're aware of most of it. Yes, no, maybe, perhaps.
My captain's command.
Uh, Ignore the 15.
Nice.
My mirror is an NSC world. The technologies developed there are trade secrets. If you were to poke around, I would trust on some discretion. Do not share anything you find with anyone else. And do not step on any toes down there, as it were. We have some of our best working on the planet. We do not need a Federation group trying to throw their weight around to brew any further ill will. Have enough difficulties as it is, keeping everyone copacetic with our relations with the Federation. Not need any trouble being being started by a rogue group trying to poke around NSC territory.
Smith
Well,
got the Mimira
then
pass.
there may be some slight issues with those stipulations. We are not the only ones interested in the happenings on Mimira. Many believe that Mimira is a planet that has reemerged from the sixth cycle, a Dracosian forge world by the name of Medusa. It's part of how I have been cued in on what might be down there. We believe that there are 8 ships of Orthani design on the planet, and 1 of Dracosian design, which would mean that it has emerged from the 6th like the Dracosians. And that being said, there are powerful forces at play, far more powerful than myself or even the entire Federation at large, who are quite interested in what is going on. Even if I do not personally tell anyone of what is found there, does not mean that other people do not already know, and that other people won't go looking themselves. You are
They will
sitting
find
on...
a unwarm welcome then. The planet is defended.
Well,
I have taken precautions against prying eyes.
are you entirely confident that such precautions would be able to hold up against, say, for example, the entire Asgard Navy if they showed up? What's on the planet is something that, by most of the universe, is considered a very large threat that they would be quite happy with getting rid of.
Is that a threat?
No, not from me anyway. But the people who are beyond our abilities may be interested in interfering with NSC activities, regardless of what I say.
Give me Captain's command.
Nice.
If they are if they would have come on their own volition, I will not hold that against you. However, if gain evidence to believe that your group had some involvement in this, be a different story.
I understand.
The
Even
world is
if I
precious to us in more than a few ways. Its
even if I don't
survival is
say anything,
paramount.
even if I am not involved, or if I don't say anything, even if I die in the next 5 minutes from a fucking, I don't know, Bury explodes or something, he misfires a spell. Even if that were to happen, I would not be surprised if people start showing up and looking around. The objects on the planet, or at least what I assume is on the planet, are very high as far as priorities go on quite a few people's lists. So, yeah. People are probably going to show up looking eventually.
We will take precautions from this.
Can you?
I don't think they can. Well, actually, I think they can. They just tell Otar when he wakes up, hey, don't let anyone touch the planet.
Oh my god. Bruh.
Bold of you to assume Otar would take orders from mortals.
Yeah.
Like, okay, get off the planet then. Bang.
Know that what you're working with, by the way, is of Storm design.
As is much of the technology your group has utilized. I'd like to point to the various B-branch crucibles your group now holds within its ranks.
Yes,
Such
so
craft
it
as is
seems.
assisting Gamma Fleet in its movement as well. Its
There's a
origin does not mean it cannot be used for other purposes.
While I completely agree, B branch and A branch are both tools that we can put to good uses. It is important that we use the tools provided to us correctly. I would highly advise against the use of the Dark Energy Shard, seeing as they are active members of the Storm, operating completely of their own volition, as evidenced by the Dark Energy Shard aboard Tempest of Infinity, and allowing them to command any of the NSC's assets or influence decisions made by the NSC is to allow the Storm direct access to the NSC's objectives and or their ships.
It's a long pause before he responds and says, "We are aware of the risks we are undertaking. We are aware of the risks that not trying to pursue further advancements in technology also pose.
I would certainly hope so. Well, anyway, unless you had anything else to discuss, I do believe we have some quite delicious desserts available.
He'll kind of raise an eyebrow and be like, "You handle conversations about the fate of galaxies with rather little Gravitas, it would seem.
I try not to take things too seriously. If you start thinking about things and if you get too caught up in them, things aren't going to end nicely.
Mentally.
Hmm.
You sound like you said that like you're a fucking immortal, Paps. Like what?
Hey, I can make a new character. No, but like
Bruh.
realistically, if you start thinking about things too seriously, you're gonna fucking go insane.
Yeah. True.
Just to point out that I think Riddick is like 3 times your age or something.
And
What is Smith, like 30?
yeah, around there ish, probably. I
Yeah.
don't know. I have the
Riddick's
age written down somewhere.
Riddick's like almost 3 times your age.
Bruh.
Okay.
Does that mean he thinks about things too seriously?
No, just
Okay, boomer.
stating that. Very well. Proceed.
All right. Well, honestly, I might recommend the peach cobbler.
Oh my god, this conversation is such drugs.
That's every conversation I've ever had in Space DnD. What do you mean? They're all complete drugs.
Sure. Yeah, he'll try some of whatever you're having.
Okay. All right. That is the Riddick talk then.
Okay. Yeah. Enjoy your spice.
Interesting.
Hee hee hee.
Nobody knows where they came from. He's lying.
What? What are you talking about?
They're totally old members of his own who went insane.
Yeah,
Get away, Rudge! The storm!
I'm gonna go. Here's my hypothesis on that is that the Void Runners are NSC people. TM.
Vital Teen rep updated.
Oh, which way did it go? By how
You
much?
went up 2.
Really? Wow.
At points of the conversation, you were as high as plus 18, but
Plus
it went back
18?
down.
Dang. I thought I was gonna go negative pretty surely. Let's
No,
go.
you did a good job buttering him up for that.
Yeah, boy. I resent your methods of interrogation.
Riddick doesn't like being interrogated. He's the boss of a major power for a long time. He's definitely got that gravitas behind him in most of the stuff he does. There are likely very few people who will like do that kind of shit to try to like get info out of him.
Well, no, you see, Ivan, I was displaying confidence around him. That way, he's like, oh yeah, Smith is great. I like Smith. Smith is really
She
confident.
knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's all about that mind gaming. Yeah, boy.
If you didn't have the statues and such, the like gifts in the beginning, you would have gone negative. Yeah.
By how much?
I think I gave you a plus 10 from that, so it'd have been minus 8.
All right. Yeah, that went a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah. You got some decent spice and
that I
some
did.
more questions
That I
you should
did.
be asking.
That I did. Oh yes. Oh yes.
I
The
think
plot
the
thickens at
storm.
Mimira.
I think Mimira Depending on how long Mimira has been a
He never-
NSC place.
That's their
What?
homeworld.
Or so
Yeah,
they claim.
Exactly.
Bum.
So,
There's a fair amount of evidence to prove that they originated there.
depending on like the spice of the storm and the relative proximity, I think the Void Runners might be like alpha testers for brain bugs of some sort, and it's just something we don't know about yet.
Brain
Or
bugs
they,
have been
they like
around
went
for
insane.
They've been
for
around
quite
for
some
Okay,
longer than a
well,
cycle.
if I remove the part of your brain that has like logic and reasoning, you'd go fucking crazy. That is similar to what they do in a way. Like
The
brain bugs
origins of
alter
Void Runners is some interesting spice.
exactly.
I'm
So
liking where
if you
Com is
take
going with this. I
if you
think
take out a piece of their
yeah.
brain, that sounds like something some maniac who's preparing to like harvest a fucking population or some shit would do, like brain bugs already are.
It's the
I blame
storm
storm
sowing chaos
activity
in the
for...
area.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. But no, it obviously is something the NSC know about, and I think we've suspected that for a long time.
They don't want to
'cause they've
they
been
don't want to
sus
display their
about it.
weakness to the technology that they're currently still trying to pursue and understand.
They use them as guard dogs in a way, but where did they come from? Very, oh yes. Very, you know what? You know what? You know what? I happen to have. Do I have? Actually, that's a good question. I think I do.
I think your mom does.
Yes.
Yeah, your mom
No?
does. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I have Void Runner corpses. What species are they?
Void Runners?
Yeah.
A mix of a lot of stuff.
Oh, I see. I see.
They're not all Eldar.
Any uniforms?
From a bunch of places, probably.
Oh, but some of them
Glorious.
are Eldar, though.
A couple of them probably are Eldar.
Oh, okay, just a couple of them. Okay. I see. I see.
But
I
a
see.
suspiciously and statistically significantly low amount of them.
Well, but
There aren't many of
there
them
aren't.
left.
Yeah, Eldar
Their
kind of does exist
civilization
that
got
way.
yeah.
nuked.
Yeah.
Their civilization got nuked, like, as they were inventing interstellar travel. Like, not
You know
many
what
of them
I
survived.
think? You know what I think it was that nuked them? I think someone got fucking brain bugged, right? Or maybe someone's plural got brain bugged, and they caused a war because a storm is very good at plotting and setting things up in advance. So they nuked the planet so that it would be in constant fucking nuclear winter for like forever, right? And then if anyone came looking for stuff, well, surprise, you can't really find anything because you can't see through the clouds. Oh, but the NSC. Oh, wow, look. We came from this planet. We know what's down here. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, Otar. What's up, home?
Fucking
I would
drag.
love to see someone call Otar homeboy. Like, Theron might be able to get away with that. Might.
Hey, yo, what's up, homeboy? The fucking sun explodes.
The stars themselves will run red with blood. Otar begins stellar energy conversion on a star. It's red.
Okay. He never answered my question about why didn't he just tell me? Oh yeah, no, he did. He was like, "Well, I'm not entirely sure I can trust you," but that doesn't make sense because he kind of did tell me. He just told me indirectly.
Yeah, but it took you a while to figure out it was anything sus.
No, I figured it out like as soon as we went to the planet. and I wrote up the thing literally like a year ago. I just haven't really had enough butter because I needed to make the Forge of Stars thing first.
Yeah, it's interesting. Riddick is not a person you want to threaten.
Well, how convenient I didn't threaten him. I just said that other people might be interested.
Other people will threaten him. Yeah.
Other people might.
Other people might get shot by Forge of Stars then.
Yes.
Maybe he'll
Very
go
interesting.
call Lotar homeboy.
Yeah. Hey, yo, what's up, homeboy?
Yeah. I wonder why Agamemnon didn't tell Riddick. Or maybe Riddick was just feigning not knowing.
Me when I rolled like a fucking 3.
Yeah.
Bruh moment.
Your RNG was questionable throughout that event. You either got sub 10 or sub 18 or above 18.
Yeah.
What are averages anyway?
I think, yeah, everyone stole my RNG. Perhaps I blame you.
Well, at least I used the nat 20 pretty nicely. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
It was about a DC 32 level question, so wasn't a whole lot of leeway on the RNG there.
How very convenient then. What the fuck would have happened if I got a nat 1?
Let's see. The question was like, it was the why were you having us do all this?
Yeah, it was like, what game
are
are you playing here, and why am I the player?
Oh, he probably would have denied like all of it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Minus rep.
Yeah. Oh, either way, you got minus rep, but you got minus rep.
How much?
I
From
think
just that.
from just that. Oh, I don't remember. It's like -6 or something.
Alright, alright. I think I handled that pretty well.
You got minus rep from the like insinuation the NSC doesn't like understand B branch tech, the like low key Avaran threat, and that.
Low key of Aran threat.
Did you like threaten the Forge of Stars?
No. All I said was, let's see, where was this? Scroll here. It was one of these. One of these. Yes, okay. So, what it was is I told him, I was talking about how Forge of Stars could do with some arcane shenanigans as opposed to getting wave motion guns because it would be faster to just make an arcane attack focus instead of figuring out a way to acquire wave motion guns for the Forge of Stars. And then I was like, oh, well, I managed to get Warp Star upgrades approved for the Black Fleet by Korax, so perhaps I could get another upgrade for Forge of Stars in the future if resources are available, perhaps as a diplomatic gift. And then I commented, now that it's fresh in his memory and on his mind that he has allowed me to interact with his prize ship more than most people, I wanted to watch him and see if it brought up any feelings of distrust or doubt. So I never threatened, I just made it a point that, yes, I have touched your ship.
Nah, it's all about getting the Forge of Stars that 12 Zyforge build. But Avarin was concerned about their origins.
Yes. Yes.
And Riddick was super quick to be like, "Why are you saying this?"
Well, he never said anything. He just shot Ivarin like a really dirty look, and he's like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, that's body language.
I see. Oh, yes.
Yeah, where your
You guys have
origins, huh?
ignored the NSC possibly going evil event chain for so long. It's gonna all hit you in the face in a bit.
It's fine. It's fine. It's alright. It's okay. It's okay. It's alright. It's Gucci. Oh yes. Also, I needed to call some people, and by some people, I mean, let me scroll and find it. There's two people in particular. Darby, Doobie. Ah, yes. Okay, here it is. Ah, yes. I would like to contact Navita Rezarvi and Corin Darby over QComs because I have QComs to them.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Interesting.
I have QComs to CSC Corbin Darby of the CSC Trident and Rimhopper Navita Rezarvi of the Rimhopper Behemoth.
Oh, you have to the Civ
ships.
flagships.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Good insert time of day, gentlemen. I appreciate you answering my hail. I know you're both very busy, so I'll try not to take too much of your time. The
What do you want?
The NSC is on track to maintain its position of dominance over the Badlands and are increasing their power quite significantly, as you may have seen from the chaos casting equipment aboard Tempest of Infinity. I believe the MAC should remain with all four factions playing a significant role in it, as opposed to a singular faction exerting a disproportionate influence, or I guess with the Knight Riders' extensive military power, two factions doing so. I just don't want you guys getting overshadowed. And as an external benefactor of the MAC interested in maintaining a relative balance of powers, I find myself in a unique position where I can supply the two of you with some advanced PL8 to 9 technology that exists outside the Federation's trade deal with the NSC. The technology is hard to come by in large supply, and most of it is equipment the Federation cannot yet produce. Some of the components are so advanced that the first ever instances we've seen them be used was a couple days ago. So there would only be enough
What
for
sort
a
of
reverse engineering
technology?
process. I have available warp drives, armor cloaking panels, flux technology, tachyon weaponry, and the latest iterations of highly advanced targeting systems and advanced engine assemblies.
Jesus Christ, just skip to the extended warranty. You're speaking
What
a million
exactly is
miles
this
an
gonna
hour.
cost?
Well, it wouldn't cost all that much. It would cost the cost of the equipment, basically, or whatever. I will put everything I have available right now, anyway, in a single supply drop to Nowhere Station. My superiors were less than impressed with the situation I created last time by supplying technology at discounted prices, and with such a limited supply of available research materials for reverse engineering, I won't be able to offer it for cheap. Um, Here's what I can do, though. I can offer you a deal that involves trust between between both of you, and you would only be paying half price each. If you both agree to split the cost in an even 50-50 split and have your respective factions work together on reverse engineering the technology fairly and efficiently, sharing the results, I will sell the components to you at a total of 18,106 GS, so 9,053 each at a 50-50 split, but only if you agree to the terms of sharing efficiently and researching it fairly or whatever and sharing the results.
Is that like 0.8 buy or what?
No, that's a little more because I don't want the Fed getting angry at me.
What define a little more?
It's a good question. That is, so they would be paying 2,000 GS more than the total. Than the standard listed price. Not the 0.8 of buy, but the 2,000 more than the full.
I think they would agree to like, they would give a counter offer of like 0.9 buy.
Okay. Sure. I'll go. I'll counter that counter with the listed buy price. I said I can't really give it away for cheaper than I would be giving it to the Fed research teams because the
Giving it to the
Admiralty will
Fed
get angry
research
at
teams
me.
would be 0.8 of buy.
I see. Okay, well, in that case then, I will say, well, I can't really give it at a discount because the Admiralty would be quite upset by giving away technology TM. I will counter offer with the listed buy.
Give me a captain's command.
Fine, maybe I will. Do I have any legendary actions left? Let's find out.
Bruh.
I have an 11. Do I trust my RNG here? What an interesting question. What an interesting question indeed. I do not trust my RNG after the last time, so we're gonna use. Yeah, I think we're gonna use a legendary action. Yeah.
They'll say
The black scale one.
0.95.
Okay, sure. That's fine. Okay, I will deliver it to you. We'll deliver it to Nowhere Station next time I am in the area, which shouldn't be too super long from now.
Can you send me the list of parts? I'll add it to their research list.
Yes. Okay. Get some D of the emming to making. Do you care about the ship size or just the parts?
List the ship size too.
Okay.
Bigger components tend to have more weight in research for strategic combat.
They might have some of this already. I don't know. But here is everything that will be in the box. Or cargo crate or whatever. And now the Fed can't get angry with me that I gave them that technology because I didn't
Isn't a
give
blade of
them.
armor PL7?
Should be PL8. I'm pretty sure ablative and nanofluidic are both PL8.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both PL8 according to MSRD.
How do you have one neutronium driver?
Because that's all you gave us.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure you were just being like, yeah, well, they don't actually want all these things. I'll give them one.
Interesting.
But I did have a use for them. But yeah. So now I have sold them for a profit as opposed to giving it to them. Yes. And we sell them. Well, I don't know if we sell them stuff all the time, but we sell stuff to the NSE all the time. Oh, yes. So it's not much different. If they get angry, then I guess I'll deal with the minus rep, but I got more money, so.
You get minus 10,000 rep with the Zukon.
Do I get any rep with the boys? And by the boys, I mean Corn Darby and Navita's Arby.
I think you get some sus.
What, do they ask about it at all? Do they ask about the sus at all?
Not at the moment.
Okay. I have a response ready, if they ever do. Yes.
It's more just continued sus at why is the Fed trying to meddle in our politics.
So it would seem.
There, I'll give you 1 rep with the CSC.
You got 1 rep for hitting an interceptor with a tank.
Good.
What?
C6 was today.
I hit the hit a
No,
interceptor
I
with a
did.
tank?
I
Oh,
nat
good.
20 to. Yeah.
Delicious.
I can't fucking imagine the lead angle you had to take on that. That was like above the 100-story building.
Okay, well anyway, that was all I had. If you needed to go to bed. It's been about an hour since we started.
Nah. Wow. I don't know. Vote on the Shadow Strike thing, so I know
Oh,
vaguely
yes,
what
I
maps I'm making.
Investigate this. It would
Apparently,
seem.
only Adam has voted on it.
Okay, so let's see here.
It's who
Defend
you want to chill
Infinity.
with, like
And help interest mon
and then
nightpaper.
Draken Imperial, Ostara, or Odama slash
Odama.
Tywin, or like Artemis for like a while, and
Define a
then
while. Like
basically
the entirety of Shadow Strike?
well, if you're with the Escola group, there's like a bunch of different objectives going on there. But if you're with the Koya group, it's basically just like Artemis or like I forget who's in charge of Helm's Deep or like some other random people. But it's
Okay.
mostly Artemis is the key objective in Hakoya.
So there are a lot more ships going to
I'm in charge.
the
Yes.
Escoya location kind of fight
Let's see.
area, right? Looks like a
Um,
significantly larger amount of ships.
I think it's a. Yeah, there's more ships going to the Alpha Fleet one, but they're looking at bigger fights too. Like there are more enemy craft.
Okay, what's the threat against Artemis? First fleet. That's
There's
a
the
Titan.
the obvious one is the Dominion flagship, Blade of Malmora,
Right.
and its accompanying battle fleet and any reinforcements that might come into the system.
And
They will also be
what's...
dealing with anyone trying to leave the pocket, probably.
Can
So
you
anyone
take us
trying
to
to
the
brute
strategic
force their
combat
way
map?
through. So basically, Artemis's group is trying to do that, and then they'll be defending here against anything trying to retreat up through here and out.
I thought they were splitting here.
Yeah, they're splitting. Delta and Gamma are going here. The pleb fleets are staying here.
Okay, so Delta and Gamma will end up here?
Yeah.
Both. Okay, and then these two are going here.
Yeah. Some of Gamma might stay at Zentaris, depending on how fucked these two fleets get.
Okay.
But
Wait,
either
then
way,
why is
Artemis
Gamma over
going
here? I
here.
thought Gamma was doing this.
Again, Gamma and Delta have split. They're in two places.
Are their ships mixed?
Okay, so the entirety of Alpha Fleet's
I'm
here.
confused.
Part of Gamma is here. Part of Delta is here. Part of Delta is also here, and part of Gamma is also here.
What?
Delta and Gamma have.
So
are
then
in
what are
two
these
groups.
markers then?
Like the majority of the fleet.
What? So part
don't-
of Delta
are
is
you
here,
confused?
part of Delta is here, and then the largest part of Delta is here.
No, this is where it currently is. It's going to gate itself to here in a little bit.
Oh, okay. So then part of Delta is here, and then the bigger part is over here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how is Gamma split?
The same way. Most of it's over here, some of it's over here.
Okay.
You can see the split here. Like Gamma took most of its like big capital ships to join the Alpha Fleet and left a lot of like LERFs and crap and their LERF command group there. And Delta left most of itself. But
Lerf command
Tywin's-
group meaning Tempest of Infinity?
Tempest of Infinity.
Right.
Um
It
yeah,
doesn't
well,
still have a
Tywin's
dark
group
energy
took some
shard on
stuff.
it, does it?
You don't know. You haven't seen it in a while.
Okay, I vote we go help Artemis.
I am glad the party sees the importance of the Astronomicon.
Artemis's group is probably getting smaller fights, but
Well, that could be a good thing because we don't really have juice.
I
Well-
sauce them an ultra heavy.
What about a super light?
Yeah. The main thing is, do you guys want to fight the Dominion's flagship? Because that's what Artemis's
That's a
main
good question.
main struggle is probably going to be is fighting the Dominion's flagship while it has fortifications on its side. That'll probably be the biggest fight you guys might join for.
How convenient that there's going to be other ships there as well.
You'll have some.
Some. What a foot.
Well, it's an attack over an entire star system. Like, if you're just chilling with Artemis, you'll be
Oh, that's true,
with
that's
her
true.
command group.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think
Chilling
we
with
help
Artemis.
Artemis because if she's low on Arcana and she's going up against Draugar or Tyr, fucking run the
You don't know
boat
what's
on that
aboard
one.
that ship, but
We know there's a
Uh,
null.
yeah.
Which
Or you
means
could
either
like go
Draugar or
around
Tyr.
with Helm's Deep, which will have a bunch of LERF groups around it.
Remember
So
when we
should
used to
go
joke around with Helm's Deep, calling it
Artanis.
Balls Deep?
Wha-
Helm's Deep is the
I don't
old
remember that
OG
one.
Star Fortress boy, and its command
Dude,
group
yeah.
and its LERF groups are full of Armageddon guns. That system is full of field artillery.
That is one of my favorite built ships.
Watch the Bubble Boy that has all the Armageddon gun people in its field.
I have an appreciation for that out Anton character.
Oh, yes. So here's something interesting that Com already knows. And you
Hugugu?
already know that I have acquired such items. I don't know if you have pieced together what I'm doing with them. But
He's gonna put a spider in your nose, going, it's a trick. It's a trick.
Is this your Vameta Part 2 or whatever?
No, but it is something interesting that you as the universe would know because you are the GM, but you as the enemy would not know. But also you as Theron would probably know just because you are the universe. But anyway, at some point while in Arcadia, oh yes,
Just saying
I
Arcadia weird for any reason?
no, just being weird. Um, I will be acquiring a Akari Mark 7 and installing a cloak, um, and some
Oh,
drugs
is this your
sensors.
Watch Theron boat?
No, it is not a Watch Theron boy. It is a Watch the Sidir
Oh
wormhole boy.
yeah, I
And
remember this.
so I have something watching Sidir right now, but not in Sidir is the problem. So Calm has voluntold one of his bots to man the fighter, and he will sit there pressing scan, scan forever to watch the wormhole using warp star sensors with many much good slurp slurp sensors, and it will cue comms me if we ever find anything coming out of the wormhole. And if we do see something coming out of the wormhole, you remember how I have a mining group and how they have guns on the mining ships? Well, those
You want to put
guns.
those mining ships against an Orthani or Rakathi
No,
craft?
you see, Ivan, a little while ago, and by a little while I mean quite a while ago, before I even constructed the ship hulls, I came into possession, while in Akari space, of some light Armageddon guns. Those are currently
When the fuck
parked
did you what?
here, and they're aimed here. So while they are mining in this
When did you
convenient
do these
blue,
refits without my knowledge?
the refits never happened. Those were the original fit. I just put the things on the ships as they were being built.
What? Interesting.